Arranging music isn't just about adding more sounds or filter automations. It's about manipulating the attention of the listener. You need to engage them on a subconscious level. But how? Why? What's even the difference between a captivating arrangement and a boring one? And what does that tell us about how to arrange music? Well, in this video, I'm gonna answer these questions. You'll learn how your brain processes arrangements and 3 core principles you can apply in your own music. And it all stems from something humans have always done. If you compare a prehistoric human to a saber-toothed tiger or a woolly mammoth, we were pussies. We didn't have claws or tusks or sharp teeth, so we had to figure out a different way to survive. We had to work together. In tribes, we had to communicate with each other. And the tribes who were the most socially calibrated, like the ones who could cooperate best with each other, were the ones who survived and got to spread their genes. Over generations, this led to social quirks and traits being reinforced in our biology and hardwired into our brains on such a deep level that it even bleeds over into the music we like. This, for example, is the reason why we prefer melodies that sound like human speech. We're just hardwired to respond to that. I'm not gonna go too deep into that today, as I already covered it in a different video, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. Because if music is speech, then musical arrangement is a conversation. And the things that make a conversation good are the same things that make a musical arrangement good. And there are 3 main things to focus on. Let's start with the first one. Tribes couldn't survive just by being good speakers. Like, it's not like they could just constantly shout cool, charismatic shit at each other without caring what the other person says, because they also had to be good listeners. Sounds obvious, I know, but most people overlook that detail. Let me show you what I mean. You're now gonna hear 2 versions of the same exact arrangement. Here's version number 1. And yet, that was just a small snippet, but already I feel like it's a bit exhausting. It's like a crowded room of politicians with differing opinions. Everyone's shouting at each other, no one's listening to anyone, and all of them want to tell their own story. Your brain can't follow anything, so it just starts zoning out. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with the melodies themselves, like, they're good on their own. It's just that when we play everything at once, it stops making sense. So what if instead of stacking the melodies on top of each other, we stack them one after another? Here's what that feels like.
Despite all the things I didn't do, I'd never say a bad thing about you. Don't let my silence fool you. Don't let my silence fool you.
See, now it's more like a normal conversation. Each musical phrase is like a sentence. So first, the vocals were the main focus of the track, then it shifted to the stabs, and then there were these 2 leads. So that way, when each person takes their turn to speak, it's actually coherent. Think of arranging as the act of deciding when each elements get to speak and which elements need to shut up and listen. Because just like being a good conversationalist, it's not about saying more and more things. It's also about being a good listener. But even if you've got that covered, you can still mess it up. This brings me to my second point. You ever notice how before someone speaks in a group, they do this little thing? They might open their mouth like they're about to say something or do a little hand gesture. Their body language makes it clear that they're about to say something. They still haven't said anything, but you're already listening. And I want you to think of introducing musical elements in the same way. I'm gonna show you an example. Let's go back to where the musical elements are taking turns. So firstly, the stab went away to make space for my vocal. But then right here is where it comes back in.
Don't let my silence fool you.
I want you to notice how just before it fully comes in, it slowly starts getting introduced. There's also this little riser swell just before it hits. So in context, you get this.
Don't let my silence fool you.
And let's compare how that would feel without these details.
Don't let my silence fool you.
I mean, yeah, but to me that feels a bit abrupt. It's like when you're mid-conversation and someone interrupts with a completely random topic, like no transition, no hey excuse me or anything. Just like if I was to suddenly interrupt this video to pitch my coaching program to you. No, but seriously, link is down below. Producers are finishing tracks and getting some great results. Alright, but there's one more thing that separates engaging arrangements from boring ones. Imagine this. You're sitting in a lecture. The professor is doing his usual boring talk, so you're kind of just zoned out, not really paying attention. But then all of a sudden, he just stops talking. The tension rises. So your first instinct is to think, wait, did he just ask me a question? What is he looking at me? What's going on? Why did he stop talking? That sudden silence, that contrast, pulls you right back in. Now, if the professor had been varying his energy the entire time, like sometimes being loud, energetic, sometimes being quiet, changing his pace, maybe you would have actually paid attention. But nope. He's just doing his monotone lecture like he doesn't even want to be there. So, of course, your brain zones out. And the same thing happens with arrangements. If your entire track has the exact same energy, same density, same exact vibe, your brain has nothing to latch onto. There's no dynamic range and there's no story being told. Let me show you what I mean. Here's that same track from earlier, but in a different moment. That's not bad, but we could make it a bit more powerful by increasing the contrast. So let's take out the kick and the bass for just a brief second, right before the change actually happens. And let's also take away the hats. Now let's hear that. Do you see what I'm getting at here? If we were to map out the energy level of the track like a line on a graph, in the first example, it would look like this. It's pretty constant. And then just goes up a bit. But in the second example, it actually goes down before going up. Both reach the same peak, but the contrast, the difference in energy is much greater in the second example. So here's the big takeaway. If you need to make your drop hit harder, instead of thinking what to add on the drop, think of what to remove before it. Because pausing for a moment makes the next sentence much more powerful. So sticking to these 3 rules is going to get you very far with your arrangements, but none of it is actually going to matter unless your loops are good in the first place. And the same principles of evolutionary psychology that we discussed today, they also apply to composition, especially if you want to make melodies that get stuck in people's heads. So watch this video next, because that's where you'll learn how to use human speech patterns to write addictive melodies. Click here right now. I'll see you there.